Every day, I keep finding out about animals that are far more talented and smarter than I am. This time, it's rats, and a giant rat at that. Welcome back to Sketchbook Biology. We have been giving jobs to animals for centuries at this point. Dogs have been our spotters and retrievers on hunting grounds and household free-to-funk fumigators. Cats have taken up pest control jobs and have always been professional couch potatoes. But of course, while all jobs are respected as they should be, some jobs are simply more important than others. And one of those important jobs is sniffing out crime. The illegal wildlife trade is one of the biggest global crime industries out there. It doesn't just threaten animals and plants, it messes with entire ecosystems, economies, and the climate, and it's run by some of the ugliest, stinkiest, and most heartless people in the world. A lot of this smuggling happens through major international ports, with illegal wildlife products very carefully hidden inside shipping containers. And although we do the best we can, it is simply too slow and it takes too much effort to screen every single container at every port of entry to catch every illegal shipment. X-ray scanners cost a fortune, and a lot of the time, you still can't tell the difference between different types of organic material. So we're always on the lookout for faster, cheaper, and better ways of catching contraband. And one of the most iconic methods is the scent detection dog. You've definitely seen these very professional cuties on TV or directly at the airport that was on TV, using their extra well-trained snoots to find out if passengers or their luggage smells a little criminal. And these dogs are good at their job, like really good. I remember one time a cartel put out a $7,000 hit on one of Colombia's anti-narcotics dogs. But as incredible as they can be, they're still expensive to train and they can struggle to get inside really tightly packed containers. So a team of 14 researchers, a lot of them from the Anti-Personnel Landmine Detection Product Development Training and Research Center at the Sokoine University of Agriculture in Tanzania, thought, why not rats? And why not rats? They're very intelligent, they don't get claustrophobic, and they're also very cute. But not any rat would do. The researchers had one particular rat, well, rodent, in mind. The southern pouched rat. They're among the world's biggest rodents, growing up to 3 feet long, including its tail, which admittedly makes up half of that length. They're found across a huge range of Africa, from Senegal to Kenya and Angola to Mozambique. These rats don't see very well, so they rely heavily on their incredible sense of smell and hearing. The pouch part of their name comes from their big hamster-like cheek pouches, which they use to carry food, like fruits, nuts, insects, and sometimes crabs and snails. I don't know, man, I wouldn't put a crab or a snail in my pouch, but you do you. In the wild, they live in groups of 20, in burrow systems with sleeping chambers and separate food storage rooms. And they're also already very accomplished and famous for detecting landmines and tuberculosis. Why not add another line to their resume? So the researchers rounded up 11 southern giant pouch rats for their study. Named Kirsty, Marty, Attenborough, Irvin, Teddy, Betty, Ivory, Ebony, Desmond, Thoreau, and Fossey. Now these rats were professionals with previous experience in scent detection and were very familiar with training involving positive reinforcement. For their experiment, the researchers wanted to see if these rats could expand their catalog of smells that they can discriminate and consistently indicate to their handlers. And the team worked on the latter part first. Training took place in a custom-built semi-automated apparatus with 10 scent ports arranged in a line. Rats were trained to move from one port to the next, sniffing each sample in the sequence. If they held their nose in the port for a preset duration when a target scent was present, the system delivered an automatic click and food reward. And this nose holding or nose poking behavior is very important to get right, because it became the foundation for all further scent detection training. Once the rats had mastered this basic skill, researchers began to introduce them to 4 wildlife products that are frequently trafficked: pangolin scales, African blackwood, rhino horn shavings, and elephant ivory. And of course, these samples were legally sourced from Tanzanian authorities. In addition, rats were exposed to a whopping 165 non-target items like coffee beans, seeds, washing powder, electrical cables, fabrics, plastics, and cardboard. Now, these items were selected because they're commonly used to hide illicit wildlife items in shipping containers. But nearly 200 smells is so impressive, I can't even name you 165 smells off the top of my head. To ensure that the rats were relying on scent rather than memorization or handler cues, blind trials were introduced. In these sessions, some target samples were completely new to the rats and were placed without the handlers knowing their location. Correct indications on these were not rewarded, because we don't want the rats to indicate just because a smell is new. These trials taught the rats to respond purely to the orders they've been taught to find. That being said, the researchers did also test whether the rats could generalize their learning to new specimens of the target items, so pangolin scales, rhino horn, ivory, and blackwood that they had not encountered before in the training sessions. And these sessions were conducted 5 days a week between 2017 and 2021, with the sessions gradually increasing in complexity. Starting with small number of target and non-target items and eventually reaching up to 100 samples per session. Nearly 4 years of training is no joke. This was a full-on bachelor's degree in finding 4 very specific smells. Out of the 11 rats, 8 successfully completed the full training and learned to consistently distinguish all 4 target scents from the large array of decoy smells. And the 3 that didn't just couldn't complete the program due to medical reasons. Understandable. Regardless, congratulations to all of you, my little dudes and dudettes. So what do their test scores and report cards tell us? Our rats first learned to identify pangolin scales and hardwood, achieving good detection rates after training, and were able to distinguish targets from non-targets reliably. When presented with new specimens, the rats generalized well to the new pangolin samples, though generalization to the fresh wood was limited, suggesting that odor treatment and storage can affect performance when searching for wooden target items. With the rhino horn and ivory though, they quickly achieved high detection accuracy, including for new and blind samples. And they remembered previously learned targets for months and generalized successfully to the new specimens. What's more, these clever rats also performed well when wildlife targets were concealed using non-target items, detecting both isolated targets and targets mixed with other substances. But detection in some of these mixtures was slightly low. But in cases like these, the researchers think that a team-based approach might be the play, where a sample was considered detected if at least 2 rats indicated it already. Overall, the rats were fast, accurate, and retained learned scents over time, showing very comparable skills to scent detection dogs, but with lower maintenance costs and greater flexibility. This is great news. And that is where we leave these well-educated and very talented southern giant pouch rats. A special thank you to our team of scientists, technicians, and everyone else that helped train these rats and publish this wonderful piece of applicable science. And thank you, as always, for watching this video and supporting me. If today is your birthday, have the most birthday ever. But if you're just out there thinking about a mischief of rats sniffing you at the airport, please like and subscribe. I'll see you again soon. Peace.